Good morning. This is the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Tuesday, August 10th. Taking a look at our fire potential impacts, smoke the main impact and the mainstay through the next couple of days. It will continue as long as our fires in Northern California and then the Pacific Northwest and up in Idaho keep burning and transporting from west to east. Notice on the bottom today we do have just a trace of monsoonal moisture barely nicking our far southern areas, maybe an isolated thunderstorm in the high Sierra. Tomorrow, the lightning activity across the high Sierra expands a little bit, and this is a concern. You'll see that this is some of our driest fuel availability here in the Great Basin in the far western portion. Smoke continues to push on down, but the bigger story on Thursday will be the expansion of lightning activity into northwest Nevada and into parts of central Idaho in the mountains where they've had a lot of rain 10 to 15 days ago, but things have been drying out pretty significantly. The potential of new strikes igniting fires that could grow more significantly. So we'll be watching that potential. The surface smoke forecast for this morning on the left, this afternoon on the right, as the afternoon winds and the afternoon peak heating increases the fire and smoke productivity. You can see that across western northern Nevada will be the worst of it. And the vertically integrated smoke forecast for later this morning on the left and further down the road on the right, you can see where the smoke overall transport from the surface up through several thousand feet will go. Not much precipitation, not much lightning across the area, just an isolated lone strike in the far eastern stretches of the Uintas and a little bit here in the northwest desert. But this monsoonal activity down here will be the next feature to watch as it tracks further north and west. Initial attack, new fires in the red was fairly light yesterday. Existing recent fires in the yellow. Now, precipitation the past 2 weeks, it has been a wet one, especially if you extend the Idaho border southwards through central Nevada and points eastward. Now, points westward had a lot less rainfall here. You can see the percent of normal, much above normal, a couple of 100% above normal in the purple shades, and drier than normal across the western portions of the Great Basin. It's a big concern for us. You can see some of those ERCs in the dark reds in far western Nevada, getting to the 80th to 90th percentiles and above, and starting to respond up in the north as well. So we're definitely seeing a gradual drying trend. It'll be slowest, of course, in our southern areas. Looking at the satellite imagery, there is the monsoonal moisture. It's kind of sitting there across Arizona and New Mexico, just waiting for some transport winds to push it further northwards. This big high pressure ridge will be moving in control with some heat for much of the northern areas, and there's a weak cold front right along the U.S.-Canadian border we'll be watching, but it should be progressing more eastwards, not so much southwards. So if we look at this afternoon, that front does move directly eastwards along the U.S.-Canadian border, not much of a factor for us. This high pressure ridge, though, builds in heat and dryness given by the dry air mass here in this tannish shade. But there is a monsoonal moisture gathering just knocking on our door. Probably see an isolated lightning strike or so in the Arizona Strip or maybe far southern Nevada. You can see on the right-hand side our fire potential. Still fairly benign, but drying rapidly up in Idaho, and still moist in the south, but very dry across parts of western Nevada. You can see those dry humidities, single digits to teens in most areas. So we are drying out. On the left, winds not really that significant, maybe 10 to 20 miles per hour up in the mountains of Idaho with the dryness and the plethora of lightning over the past week or so. Could see more holdovers popping out. Probably won't grow very large very quick, but the breezes do tend to dry things out, especially also across parts of western Wyoming, otherwise light winds. These more enhanced shades are basically outflow boundaries from nearby thunderstorms. Now, we could see some lightning approaching the Arizona Strip. Models also show maybe an isolated lightning strike over the central mountains of Nevada, but fuels there still on the moist side, but the humidities will be dry. Now, on Wednesday, high pressure ridge continues to build in from the Pacific Northwest to our northern areas. Temperatures will be probably about 5 degrees above early August normals, but you can see that moisture starting to push up the Sierra chain, and that's where we have high risk for the southern Sierra front, keeping it small for now. That's where the lightning will be, and that's also where the driest fuels will be. Further south, if there is lightning, fuels there still on the more moist side. You can see winds on the left, not that significant. other than outflow boundaries from thunderstorms. The humidity extremely dry, single digits to low teens in many areas. You can see the moisture starting to push in. Isolated lightning more on the wetter side, Arizona Strip area to southern southwest Utah and parts of southern Nevada, but it's this stuff coming right up the Sierra front, which could be on the drier side. I'll have to monitor that carefully. On Thursday, moisture in a few pulses starting to rotate back around, and hard to see in this black area, but it could be just enough moisture to trigger some thunderstorms in parts of the northern Sawtooth and also the Sierra front. We're kind of worried. We'll have to monitor the northwest Utah region as well. Winds, again, not a big factor. The humidity stays dry. Precipitation, you can see it blossoming on the Sierra front, possibly a little bit into northwest Nevada. We see a better concentration here across the northern Sawtooth. Models are starting to key in on that, so we'll have to watch that. Humidities will be in the mid-teens up there, but again, possibility of lightning starts after several dry days. 3-day precipitation totals, you can see them through here. The monsoonal moisture surges into our southern areas, but gets much drier further northwest. Peek into the future, Friday, high pressure back in control, and is starting to tap that subtropical monsoonal moisture. We'll still see some possibilities of lightning and possibly the Salmon Chalice area rotating through. And then for Saturday, we'll just monitor it for now. There'll be more waves of moisture coming in. We'll have to determine how wet or dry things will be, but they'll definitely be wetting up in the south. You can see a lot of the areas turn green. This is Sunday, a better surge of wetter monsoonal moisture to southern areas. Maybe some winds up north, and then later on Monday, we should see a drier push of air into parts of Idaho, northern Nevada. We'll have to monitor that carefully for breezes and kicking up some lightning, but deeper moisture, maybe some flash flooding and more wetting rain, so much of southern and eastern Utah. Possible hurricane on the horizon well down off the Baja coast. You can see our 7-day on the right-hand side. 7-day precipitation total starts getting wetter, and I wouldn't be surprised if this trend even gets wetter more across eastern Utah, but still dry. Any lightning up north will be a concern. 8 to 14-day outlook taking us from August 17th to the 23rd, near normal temperatures, maybe a little bit above normal. This cooler than normal signal down south still indicates there's a monsoonal influence, but it might be shifting more into the eastern Great Basin or southeastern Great Basin, I should say, near normal or slightly drier everywhere else. This concludes our briefing. Have a great day.